time I hear this music playing, it's my theme's background. It's 1980s retro theme, and it has this techno music playing. And like, for some reason, I love the shit out of it.
Damn it.
Janet?
Well, I'm trying to.
Have a video icon next to your name now.
Yeah, I'm broadcasting the video, and if you can watch it, then watch it. Because I'm broadcasting something that like I said, I think you will love.
Got the nails. Alright. It's loaded.
That's because I minimized it for a second. She's so cute and so, and so small. I mean, I get she's supposed to be a kid or whatever, but god dang. Doesn't she though? Because I mean, she's damn sure got a figure on her. I mean, it'd be one thing if she was about the same size as the cat girl, but she's even smaller than the cat girl. Exactly. Mm-hmm. And I mean, see the round face and the young features. They make it seem like she's supposed to be an adolescent, but then you look right below that, and I know, right? I see that double I see that double innuendo. Exactly. I just love the fucking music they're playing. I love it. It's all classical Final Fantasy Tactics. Yeah, what was this? What was this bullshit of people? Yeah, we're getting Final Fantasy 12 Reborn. No, no, you're not. This is all fucking from Tactics. The first fucking person they show is from fucking Tactics. One of the most important characters from Tactics, for that matter. So go fuck yourself, Final Fantasy 12 crowd. Go fuck yourselves. It's not a Final Fantasy 12 thing. That's the thing. It's a Final Fantasy Tactics thing. Well, Final Fantasy 12 takes place in the past, but the thing is it's nowhere near as important to the writer of the Evil's universe as Final Fantasy Tactics is. It's just not. And people, the Final Fantasy 12 crowd wants to act like Final Fantasy 12 was one, the most prominent of the Evil's titles when it wasn't, and is the most important of Final Fantasy Evil's titles, which again, it wasn't. They just really desperately want their Vieira, so therefore they want Final Fantasy 12 to be as relevant as possible. And it's not going to happen. This has been stated it was going to be a Final Fantasy Tactics raid. It was going to be based on the Evil's Final Fantasy Tactics. Sure, the first part of our raid is a ruined Rabanastar. Sure. The thing is Rabanastar is a city in a setting of Ivalice, not a city in a setting of Final Fantasy 12. And people that are obsessed with Final Fantasy 12 want it to be, well, it's obviously based on Final Fantasy 12 because we're getting stuff from Final Fantasy 12. Except Rabanastar existed in Final Fantasy Tactics. It was talked about in Final Fantasy Tactics. You just never went to the ruined city of Rabanastar. Because it's a fucking ruined city. Why would you go there? But it was talked about. Yeah, Final Fantasy 12 takes... Most people didn't. Most people just took them as each game in its own self, and the entire Ivalice universe is actually... It's far more well drawn out than bullshit like Final Fantasy 15's universe is. But it's just a matter of... it's just a matter of taking it where it's at, and... like I said... Final Fantasy 12 dieharders wanted to make this raid about 12, and it's not. They've stated it multiple times that it's not 12's Ivalice. It is straight up Tactics Ivalice, as can be heard by the fucking music that's playing. It's all from Tactics. No. 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 At least not as far as I know. But I mean, if we're going to go there, then that means which one are they going to do? Are they going to go with just the regular Tactics, or are they going to do War of Lions, where you also summon Luso from another Final Fantasy Tactics, for that matter, and Balthier for that matter? In which case, if they do War of the Lions, then you will get a Final Fantasy 12 character cameo, because Balthier would technically have to be there. Because if they're going to do summons, then they have to do all the canon summons. And while Cloud is not a canon summon, Luso and Balthier were in War of Lions. They were actually part of the story, and they were actually part of the cutscenes. Cloud was more of an Easter egg, while the other two characters were not. They were actually part of the story. Yep. Well, it's basically like the reason that Balthier shows up is because it's to explain where he disappears to when he disappears at the end of Final Fantasy. I think Revenant Wings. Yeah, at the end of Revenant Wings, because he grabs the treasure and he gets teleported to the future, and that's the explanation for that. That was to fill in that hole. I mean, they didn't. Yeah, they didn't really have to fill in that hole because most people didn't play Revenant Wings. But for people that did, it was a nice little Easter egg. So, and then something happens to Luso and his gang. So there's that. But yeah, so I mean, it all depends on which version that they plan on. They plan on doing the War of Lions version or just the original vanilla. Because I know Rams and Mustadio show up. Well, they're not. Well, they're not cameos per se as a cameo as you would think, because they're written in the actual story. Like this is their story, so it's not like they weren't planned to originate or that they're just whatever the word is. Because it's just like with Crystal Tower, those characters existed in the original story for Final Fantasy 3, and all the characters that show up and all the other stuff that they originally existed. So they're not cameos in the classic sense. They're just characters that happen to also share their story with the original characters from the original game. Because this is their actual story. I'm actually curious if she's wearing a Zodiac stone right now. I mean, her boobs are already a. Mm-hmm. Yes. My latest play, the Zodiac Brave story. Well, the whole game, and see, that's the thing. We don't know if they're talking about the actual game events or if they're just talking about, because this is separate from the video game in the fact that, and this is the reason why they're not cameos. Is this world is separate from, and they come out and specifically stated it. This Ivalice is different from the Ivalice in the game, in the fact that this Ivalice does exist in Final Fantasy 12 or 14's universe. So what they're talking about did happen in 14's actual past. There is an actual continent of Ivalice in this universe. It's just not Final Fantasy Tactics /12's Ivalice. So while well, yeah, they're theater troupe and they do the Zodiac Brave story. But the thing is as of right now, since this is me, I'm going through this quest. I have no idea, so I don't know if if their play is based upon some bit of truth or what. I just know that if it's anything similar to the actual game, then their play was based upon real fact. And there's Sid. Not TG Sid, but Sid nonetheless. What? That's all I wanted to show you. I thought that was cool.